show on Kids Place Live, and there is a name that you, I'm guessing, are probably hearing a lot of this week and next week, and that is the name Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We've been playing a song year-round on Kids Place Live called MLK That Way by an artist known as DJ Willy Wow, a.k.a. William March. And to talk about Martin Luther King Jr. today, we welcome William March from his home in Baltimore, Maryland, to tell us what it was like making that song and working with the family of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to create it. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, everyone. This is DJ Willy Wow. Hey, kids. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was very instrumental in helping us achieve the goal of civil rights and equality in this country. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. King's daughter on the 4th of July. I was at a party. I was DJing and performing at a party, and she came over to me and asked me for my card because she wanted the Dr. Martin Luther King Center in Atlanta to have more family-friendly events and educational fun. So I met Dr. King's daughter, and I started doing MLK Day every year at the King Center in Atlanta. It was a tremendous honor, and I've always admired Dr. King. He is one of my personal heroes as a freedom fighter, and, I was able to meet his daughter, and that's how I became close with the family, by bringing family-friendly fun and music to the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia, which is the most visited museum in Atlanta, visited by people from all over the world.
And you're actually able to help carry on his legacy to a new generation of kids through MLK That Way, which, by the way, you were able to take pieces of his speeches, including his famous I Have a Dream speech. When we're listening to that song, we're hearing the words of Martin Luther King Jr. We're hearing his dream played out. What was his dream, and what can we be doing right now in 2021 to help get closer to reaching and achieving that dream?
Dr. Martin Luther King's famous speech, I Have a Dream, what always rings and stands out to me is that he not only wanted his children, but all children in this nation, to live in a nation where they wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And I want kids to really think about that the time is always right to do the right thing by those who you come in contact with. We're all going to come in contact with people who look differently, who talk differently, who have different religious beliefs. And what you want to do is just make sure that you take the time out to understand that we're all different and that you can always do the right thing. And you want to ask yourself, life's most persistent question is what Dr. King said, what are you doing for others? And you can always be kind and respectful and treat others the way that you would like to be treated. I mean, he made sure that we could eat in the same restaurants, use the same bathrooms, and also attend the same schools without fighting and choosing love over hate. And that's the dream. And we are all standing on the shoulders of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I want every kid out there to remember that that's what his legacy is all about, being able to work together and creating a world of equality and love over hate.
Yeah, and you said something that really struck me, and that is we are different. We all have different experiences, and the difference is what makes this country so interesting. And if we all looked the same and thought the same and acted the same, it would be so boring. But the fact that we are different makes it interesting, but it's important to not let those differences get in the way of realizing that we all want and need some of the same basic things. We all want love, and we need family and food on our table that we have easy access to, a safe place to live. We all want and need and deserve those same things. We're different, but we all have a lot of core things in our hearts that are very much the same. So for kids listening right now, what do you hope that they will take away as they think about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today and every day? What do you want them to take with them out into the world?
Being able to, I would love for kids and parents alike. I know a lot of parents are listening, because you're never too young or too old to challenge yourself, as Dr. King did. Dr. King organized people. He marched in the streets. He made it known that people were not being treated fairly, especially African Americans. And it's a responsibility for all of us, young or old. You can never be too young or too old to have a test of goodness. And that's what Dr. King and his legacy stood for. It was a test of goodness, of choosing love over hate, working things out non-violently. You know, there were very bad things done to people that held people back. And, you know, as a children's artist in the children's music community, you know, I've had the privilege of standing on the shoulders of Dr. King and breaking down barriers with positive music and messages in my daily work. So I just want every kid out there to know that you can wake up every day and make it conscious to do the right thing, to do the work, and know that representation matters, and be conscious of being on the grounds of equality.
And at the time, you know, we look at Martin Luther King Jr. today as a hero in the civil rights movement. But at the time, I think there were a lot of people who thought, "Oh, who is this troublemaker? Why is he talking about this stuff? Why can't we just go on the way we've been living? We're fine. Why is he shaking things up?" And I think for a lot of people, that shaking things up is really a scary thing to do, whether it's in your own family, in your own community, in your own school. What would you say to kids if they see something that they in their heart know is not right and they're scared to shake it up?
You know, Dr. King was a disruptor, and a lot of times when there's change, someone has to stand up for what's right and be a disruptor. A lot of times, everyone doesn't see things the same way, or they don't see your vision. They didn't see Dr. King's dream. I mean, 60 years ago, we couldn't use the same bathrooms. We couldn't eat in the same restaurants. There are still challenges today where things are just not equal, and people of color are not treated fairly as minorities. So you have to be bold to walk in the footsteps of Dr. King. You have to be strong. And, you know, it's not for everyone, but Dr. King has plenty of awesome quotes because he was well-read. I mean, Dr. King was 15 years old when he entered college, Morehouse College. I attended the same college as Dr. Martin Luther King, so he was a very gifted, smart, young, intelligent child, and he was bold, and he was well-read, and he was not afraid. He was fearless when it came to showing people how smart he was. So being able to apply the work that you put in into learning more about and having knowledge of yourself, putting people first, you know, that's what kids out there really need to do to waver from being afraid of speaking up. You know, you have to speak up for yourself and stand up for your rights.
You know, I think that a lot of grown-ups, we can learn from our kids. That your generation, if you're a kid listening right now, you have the power, and not only the power, but the responsibility to help live out Dr. Martin Luther King's dream, to help bring us to a more equitable society where people are treated equally and not based on the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. DJ Willy Wow, thank you so much for not only writing this song, but continuing the work that you're doing and to continue making sure that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy is shared with a whole new generation of kids. I have to ask, what is next for you? Are you working on more songs with more legacy songs?
Actually, it's funny that you say that. Martin Luther King's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Dr. King. But 2 days from now, we're going to be celebrating another birthday from another one of my heroes, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. So we have a Muhammad Ali project that is coming this February. So I want everyone to stay tuned for that. We've already shot some of the video, and it's going to be really awesome. We got kids playing legendary characters from the boxing world. We got a young Howard Cosell and Don King and Angelo Dundee, and we got kids playing
different roles in the video, and it's really an awesome project. And everyone knows that Muhammad Ali was amazing. He was not only an awesome athlete, but he was also an activist. He was funny. He was poetic, and he was pretty. He was handsome, and he's considered the greatest of all time. So we are bridging the gap between this generation and the older generations, like we did with Martin Luther King. We're doing it with Muhammad Ali. We've done it with Stevie Wonder. And, you know, that's very important to keep our history going. And remember, everyone, Black history is American history.
Yes.
So just remember that. Everyone can enjoy it. And this is for all children. And I really appreciate you guys. You can visit djwillywow.com. Actually, the video for MLK That Way is on Kids Place Live Facebook page. But you can definitely visit djwillywow.com. We're always doing something new and fresh, and I really appreciate SiriusXM for having me on today. Thank you, absolutely, Mindy, Tori, and Kenny, and I really appreciate you guys. And remember, kids, you can never go wrong doing the right thing. We thank you, Dr. King, for all of your work, and you guys keep the dream alive.
Thank you, Willy Wow. You can never do wrong doing the right thing. So those are some words to carry with you through this day. In the meantime, enjoy the MLK That Way. You can also see the video for that song on our Kids Place Live Facebook page and at djwillywow.com. Here we go.